welcome to this exciting conversation. This is Inclusion One-on-One. I am your host, Alan Hubbard, and this morning we are having an interesting conversation with a gentleman that is not so new at Science TV. He goes by the name of Christopher Machin, but for those who do not know him, I'll be giving him an opportunity to introduce himself later on in the broadcast. But we are having a conversation about the Professional Fellows Program. Yes, that program that gives an opportunity to mid-career professionals to work around civic engagement. Yeah, the first the 2022 cohort, which I'm also glad to say that I am an alumni of. Hooray! Yeah, and I'm alumni of, and now there is a new call for the 2024 cohort. That is what we're going to be talking about, and also we're going to be having a conversation on what are the other programs that the embassy is indulging in to make sure that they strengthen the capacity of young people in the country, in the aspect of the United States Embassy here in the country. And without further ado, Mr. Christopher, welcome to the show, and kindly introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Machin. Yes, I am the Cultural Attaché at the US Embassy. It's a pleasure to be back here at Science TV to talk about the Fellows Program as well as some of our other programs.
Yeah.
Today, I have dressed up for our host, for Mr. Herbert. He's always looking dapper, so I made an effort today to wear, I have a charcoal gray suit on with a light lavender colored shirt, I guess, and a very energetic tie, a purple tie with a lot of designs on it, very energetic. And I have much longer hair since the last time I was here, I think. It's now down to my collar. My mother would hate it, but I've been growing it for a couple of reasons, but maybe time for a haircut. And I have glasses on, dark blue round glasses. And I shaved my beard the other day, so I don't really have much of a full beard today, but I think the last time I did. Anyway, trying to remember a year ago.
How it looked like.
Yes.
So you decided to shave off the beard so that you could keep a little bit of the hair.
Yes, you have to choose what you want.
You said you put it so rightly that you were last here in 2022, about a year ago. Paint a picture for us. A year ago, what has changed at the point of the Cultural Affairs Office at the Embassy of the United States?
Sure. Well, I think one of the biggest changes at the U.S. Embassy has been our ambassador has arrived. She arrived in August, just before the elections, and that has helped us to focus on a couple of our priorities and add to a few of our priorities. I think one of the things that this ambassador is known for is her background in tech. So I think one of the things from our office is we're looking at a lot of different tech programs, although it's always been a great pleasure to bring technological solutions, technical training, computer training to Kenyan students and people interested in Kenya. So that's one area that I think we're continuing to focus on and maybe increase our focus a little bit. And then this ambassador is also very interested in climate change, in environmental protection. So that's something that we've added a little bit of focus to that. That's been a pleasure to add to our programming repertoire. But of course we still have all of the classics as well, like the Professional Fellows Program.
But before we go even into the Professional Fellows Program, pragmatically, the things that you have interest on or what the ambassador comes with, are these the things that you're programming around, or take us through some of the other programs besides the PFP before we go deeply into the PFP?
Sure. Well, we have a lot of different programs that many people never hear about, some of which we operate with our local partners through grants. We do work a lot with alumni of our programs, like Professional Fellows, like Mandela Washington, like there's another program called the International Visitor Leadership Program. So we have all of these different programs, and we work with alumni on those. We have a couple at the moment moment on the ecological effects or the effects of climate change on people with albinism. We're working with some of our alumni on that. We're working with some of our alumni on an ecopreneurship project to look at ways to use agribusiness to build small businesses and economic opportunities for youth in Kenya. We also have our American Spaces program. So if any of you know, we have American Corners in a couple of different places, at the Meiwa building in Mombasa, at the KNLS, the National Library building in Nakuru, downtown in Nairobi at Moi University's Nairobi campus at Bazaar Square. And as soon we'll reopen at the embassy. But they also offer a wide variety of programs on, let's see, what are we running at the moment? Financial literacy for online business owners. We've had a makeup program, learning to do stage makeup, like cuts and bruises and things like that. We've also had 3D printing, robotics, and coding programs at our corners, as well as the Academy of Women Entrepreneurs program, business training for small business owners. So really, really a wide variety of programming options available through the US Embassy. So keep an eye on our Facebook page.
All right, very, very interesting programming there, and I hope that the viewer, as you're speaking, they're getting an interest and say, okay, probably I'll be able to plug into that particular program. But a person would ask then, why all this investment in Kenya? Why is it very important for the United States to work in a country like Kenya? I'm not saying that it's not important, but why is it important for the United States government?
Sure. Well, I think for the Biden administration, recently we had the African Leaders Summit in Washington back in December, and there was a real focus on the future of the planet, and the future of the planet really is the future of Africa. And so working together, I mean, Africa is is the continent with the most young people. I mean, in Kenya alone, what is it, 85% of the population is under the age of 35. So the idea of if we all want to have a future together, not just the United States, but so many of the issues that are facing our planet are issues that we have to solve with other people. And for the future of our planet, we need to work with the young people. And Kenya has so many young people with so many ideas, so much talent, that the investment is in all of these different programs is really a way to keep the dialogue going and to build that relationship and build those conversations so that they're not just 1 minute, they're not just 30-second conversation sound bites, but that they're stories that play out over years and relationships that develop and deepen over years.
Very interesting there. Now let's dive deep now into the PFP. What is the PFP and why is it important?
Sure. The PFP, or Professional Fellows Program, is part of I like to think of it as a part of a family of programs. There are a couple of other programs that are very similar, the Community Solutions Program and the Community Engagement Program, that I think of them as sort of a family cousins of programs, where we take Kenyan grassroots activists, people who are actively involved in their fields, to the United States to experience an intensive mentorship and training opportunity with their peers in the United States. So they can bring back practical solutions, practical ideas. I think that's one of the biggest advantages of the Professional Fellows Program is that it really focuses on what can we actually do. And people who come back from the program come back with great ideas, ways that they can build relationships, build conversations between the United States and Kenya, and also within Kenya about specific topics. And the Professional Fellows Program offers a couple of different opportunities. The one that we participate in from Kenya tends to focus on disability rights advocacy. But there are a couple of others, I think, other programs that are similar running. They might look at other issues, but the one that we've participated in from the embassy for the past few years has been disability rights advocacy.
And when we narrow it now to the specificity of disability, how does the disability aspect merge or marry into the bigger picture of the the goals of the embassy? Why pick out single-handedly disability?
Sure. Well, I think we have focused a lot, at least I know since I've been here in Kenya about 3.5 years, and we've had quite of a focus on disability rights advocacy. And part of that is because we realize that in any society, everybody needs a voice.
Yes.
And disability rights are human rights, and everybody in the disabled community should be able to participate fully in all of the different opportunities available. And when you have an inclusive and diverse workforce, then you have an adaptable, creative, problem-solving workforce, and that's something that benefits everybody. It's not just someone who's born disabled who may need crutches or may need a wheelchair. It's anybody. I broke my leg while I lived in Dubai. I had to rely on crutches and the elevator, all of the different adaptive technologies, the buttons that you push to open the door. I needed all of that, for a 3-month period of my life. And so the idea that disability rights and the problem solving that comes with working with the disabled community to solve problems, to give equal access to everybody, that's something that benefits everybody.
And that's why that part really needs to be done. And there was something that you elaborately spoke about, the PFP, the rigorous selection process that people go through, or people who want to become fellows of the program go through. It's quite rigorous, and it's if we look at it from an investment point of view, it is quite a huge investment. But if you're going to make such investments, then definitely you need to look at how do we make them sustainable. Could you take us through? A fellow has gone to the United States. They have gone through the rigorous mentorship. They have got enhanced all those amazing skills and capabilities. When they come back in their countries, how does the embassy keep in touch with them to make sure that that drive that they got from the States and that knowledge that they gathered or they got to get does not wash away or does not dwindle? What mechanisms has the embassy put in place to make sure that at least there is that sustainability?
Sure. Well, I think one of the key things is that we have on my team an alumni coordinator. So someone who is supposed to work with all of the alumni of our many, many programs, not just professional fellows, but our many programs, and find ways to tap into their talents and to help them network with each other. I always say one of our goals is to help people find someone else with similar goals and complementary skill sets. So if somebody is really good at policy work, but they need a graphic designer, we have all of that. So we have an alumni coordinator who is supposed to work on all of those issues. I will say that position has been vacant for a little while, but we hope to hire somebody in the next couple of weeks. So that's one way. And that person, the alumni coordinator, helps to share certain opportunities, like we have specific grant or funding opportunities to work with our alumni to fund some, not all. I don't have a lot of money, but some projects with our alumni. Like I mentioned earlier, the ecopreneurship project that we're working on with alumni. We have specific pots of money or pots of funding available for our alumni because they're known candidates. We trust them to be excellent in their fields and to have some really great ideas. And then also we love to engage our alumni as often as we can with our visitors. I know that we had one of the US Aid administrators or deputy administrators in charge of inclusivity for US Aid came by to visit some of our alumni here at Science TV. As well as we love to engage them in conversations with our ambassador. Back in December, we did have a gathering with our deputy chief of mission to talk about International Persons with Disabilities Day in December. So we'd love to have our alumni provide their perspective on many different issues, whether that's disability policies and accessibility policies, or whether that's just telling us their views on the latest happenings in Kenya from their perspective.
Yeah, and this would be more of a call to action, or basically a call to action to somebody who is watching this and they are thinking about applying for the PFP. What would you tell them? Why should they apply for it?
Sure. I think that this is a program that is a wonderful opportunity for anybody who wants to make a difference, not just in the short term, but the long term. This is a program for somebody who is looking to make new connections, to be inspired, to get new ideas, and someone who wants to share that information with people back in Kenya, with their peers here, with their friends. And so I think this is a program for somebody who is highly motivated, somebody who is highly energetic and a little bit ambitious. It's we want people to come back and apply what they've learned or the good ideas, and we also want somebody who will be a good ambassador for Kenya. We want somebody to share the best parts of what Kenya is doing with their counterparts in the United States. I think that's one thing that we don't always mention that we should. This is any exchange is a two-way street. And we need people in America to learn a little bit more about Kenya. I think if you ask the average American what they know about any country on the African continent, maybe they would say safari.
Yeah, definitely.
But this is our opportunity to share a really unique aspect of Kenya culture, Kenyan society with people in the United States. So I think that's what we want. We want people who are motivated to make a change, people who are in it for the long haul, people who are really looking at how programs like this, relationships like this can play out over the next decade. And we want people who will be good ambassadors for Kenya.
There is something that you've spoken about that I had forgotten to pick on, and another key component of the PFP is the outbound program, where fellows get the opportunity for the mentors that they worked with in the United States also get an opportunity to come to Kenya to get to learn about it. Could you tell the viewer a little bit about that, and why also that is important?
Sure. We have a couple of options through several of our programs that bring Americans here. Some of them we bring directly from the embassy, speaker programs. Like last year, we brought Victor Kalisi, who we brought here, and who also spoke as part of the Enable conference, as well as Haben Girma, the first deafblind graduate of Harvard. So sometimes we help to identify those. Sometimes our partners like Enable help to identify people who would be good speakers in Kenya, interesting to Kenyan audiences. But one of the best ways that we can bring people from the United States here is when we bring someone that one of our exchange participants met and worked with in the United States. So one program we did last year on inclusive cycling was inspired by one of the Kenyan participants in the Mandela Washington Fellowship met the Inclusive Cycling Organization while she was in the United States on the Mandela Washington Fellowship, and kept up the connection, and then wound up helping to bring them here. So with the Professional Fellows Program, one of the best things about the program is built into it is the opportunity to continue working with some of the people you met in the United States. So you go to the United States, you see what they do, you think about it, you come back to Kenya, and you have a little bit of a time to think over your experience, and then have another conversation where the person from America comes to Kenya and sees what you've been talking about your whole time while you were in the United States. And so that's really an excellent opportunity to continue a conversation, to deepen your knowledge and their knowledge, and to, I think one of the best things is it does give you that opportunity opportunity to digest your experience and then share that a little bit more. Because I think sometimes when you're in the moment, it's all overwhelming in the U.S.
I can definitely attest to that.
And this gives a chance to, after you've really distilled things down, to follow up on the core issues and really have a very focused visit.
Interesting there. Anything that you'd like to talk about that probably I have not touched on?
Anything? Well, I know it's just a pleasure to be here. I will leave Kenya in August of this year. My assignment here is coming to a close.
Yes.
It looks like I will go to Haiti next. So a very different experience.
Judging by your resume, you've quite traveled the world. Dubai, the likes of China, mainland China, and now to Haiti.
Yes, no, the Caribbean will be something very different for me, but I know that there's a large African diaspora and some traditions and practices that have spanned the Atlantic. So hopefully I'll feel at home in Haiti. But I know that my successor, there's a new team actually coming into the public diplomacy section at the embassy, and I know that they'll continue a lot of these programs. It's really been a great pleasure to work on so many issues here in Kenya. We do a lot of entrepreneurship, which is training, and business skills training, which is exciting, but I think one of my favorite activities or favorite areas of focus since I have been here has been disability rights advocacy. I think seeing the difference it can make in people's lives, whether working with the Enable organization on technology training, coding skills for young blind students, whether sending people to the United States on the Professional Fellows Program and hearing about their experiences, or whether working with people like our Mandela Washington Fellows who may be blind or deaf or use a wheelchair, to help them go to the United States, travel internationally for the first time. It's really a great privilege to be a part of that experience and to help share some of those experiences with people in Kenya. So it's been a pleasure to work with you, Herbert, and everybody here at Science TV over the past few years. And I look forward to hearing about all of your successes and all of the success of our alumni across our programs, but especially the professional fellows.
Right. And I don't know if I could call that a befitting bye-bye, but thank you very much. And as well, it has been, even not sitting from this interviewing position, but also the engagements that we've had out of the TV stations, and also the accommodations that the embassy through the diplomacy office put in place to make sure that the PFP experiences that most of the fellows have had, it has always been seamless. And it was a pleasure getting to meet and also extensively work with you, Mr. Christopher.
Well, it's wonderful to work with you as well, and I hope at some point I'll have the chance to come back and visit Kenya, but I know that I'm leaving you all in good hands.
Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher, there, for telling us, not even a little bit, telling us everything that we need to know about what the US Embassy is doing, not only in the specificity of disability advocacy, but also in a whole broader picture of what the US Embassy is interested in working in Kenya, and also that aspect that he mentioned, that the ambassador, the current ambassador, Meg Woodman, who is very interested and very keen in matters to do with technology and how technology can be an enhancement of accessibility and making lives of young Kenyans a little bit more easier. That's it for the first set of this conversation about the Professional Fellows Program. Up next is an alumni, so-called Salome Gitao. She is an alumni that we were with, and she was posted in Boston, Massachusetts, and she's going to be telling us about her experience, but also she will be with Mercy Opiche, who